Last time on Square Roots, diplomacy fails when the Emperor raises a continent into the air. Terra gets a backstory, and we beat it out of the Empire so fast that we leave Sid marks. Get it? Sid marks?
Hey everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I am joined by Matthew Van Zant.
Hey.
John Warring Triad Brandon.
Yeah, I'm one of those triads where, like, one of the guys has kind of been kind of crappy to the other two when we're like, look, we're trying to make this relationship work, and it takes communication from all three of us, and, sometimes that's hard.
And, running a little late, not here yet, but will be Vanessa.
Ooh, I'm the
Vanessa.
ghost of Vanessa. Ooh.
That was terrible.
And this is a podcast where we play and talk about classic RPG games like Final Fantasy VI.
The classicist.
The classicist.
This month we're playing Skies of Arcadia.
Ooh, I'd be okay with that.
I've never played that game. Is it good?
This month we're
I don't
playing whatever RPG John hates.
Oh.
Kingdom Hearts.
Well, yeah, that's probably, especially
Kingdom Hearts
Kingdom Hearts
352 over 8 days.
Whichever one has the cards, because I hate any kind of card-based battle system.
Oh, that's isn't that like which one
Chain
is
of
that, Matthew?
Memories.
Chain of Memories.
I remember playing Metal Gear Acid and then finding out it was a card-based battle system and just being like, no,
Ew.
What's your
Come
problem with
on.
cards?
I just don't like them
It's
in
just
a
a different
video
kind
game.
of representation of your turn-based attacks. It's not any
If I wanted to
different,
play
really,
a game
than
with
choosing from a
cards,
menu.
I'd play a card game like Magic the Gathering. I feel like it's a further abstraction from the reality of the game than the game already has, and it's just dumb.
Could be really
Well,
mad
guys,
when we played
before
for
we
the
get
show.
into the classicest of classic RPGs, by the way, I should just get this out of the way. We're playing from the end of the sealed cave to the sealed gate, to the end of the floating continent. But guys, before we do that, let's talk about how we leveled up. I want to hear what John did first.
Okay.
Jaundiced first?
Well,
Yikes.
ooh. I went to a party, which means I went and was social. It was called Bears in Space.
What? That sounds like an amazing party.
It wasn't.
Oh, why?
Okay, so it was like a beer garden style party. It was
Mhm.
fine, but the lineups for beers were 40 minutes long.
Oh, gross.
It's like, no, you are doing this wrong. If you are $20, $15 to $20 a ticket, and several hundred people are there, and you're charging $5 a beer, maybe you should have more than 4 bartenders.
Yeesh, that's
Yeah.
terrible.
It was really bad. But the event was fine. I wore my rubber shirt that I never get a chance to wear, and it was I guess it was fairly sunny. So I don't normally sweat, like I'm not really a sweaty guy, but there was so much sweat coming from under the rubber shirt that my jeans were soaked because I was sweating so much. Like I had to be always drinking water.
What is a
or else-
rubber shirt?
Well, it's like a t-shirt made of rubber.
But why?
It looks fun. It I don't know, makes you look all burly.
What color was it?
Red.
Oh, that's not a very reflective color.
No, it was shiny. And I don't know, I want something that looks sort of sci-fi, so like a red space shirt.
Oh.
It was fun. Hey,
You're not allowed to talk.
first of all, no one can hear you. Secondly, that's offensive. They also had a bouncy castle, and I looked at the bouncy castle and it said weight limit 200 pounds, and the icon was a very fat person with like a red, the don't sign over them. It was very offensive. I was very mad. At a bear
What?
party. Come on.
On what planet is did you say 200 or 250?
200.
That's not even that. Oh, 200?
Yeah.
That's like, okay. There would have to be like a 3'5" person who weighed 200 pounds to be like really circular.
Well,
and
they're
weigh 200
saying
pounds.
no really circular people.
Yeah, that's not cool.
No, I was like, come on. You made an enemy of me today, bouncy castle. But yeah, there was some cute guys there, but they're all there with their husbands.
Oh.
I know. Jim, what did you do?
Ooh, I did a couple things. I went and saw the new Teen Titans movie, Teen Titans Go to the Movies. And it was probably one of the funniest animated movies I've ever seen in my whole life.
How does it stack up
amazing.
to Lego Movie?
It was better than the Lego movie.
Oh, I really like that one.
This one is hilarious. Like, it just is like goof after goof after goof. There's even a sequence that's supposed to parody The Lion King that's done in a totally different animation style it is full of DC characters, and it's hilarious.
Does
The whole
he
movie
spray paint
slays.
F Batman to show how badass he is?
I hope so.
The movie's just constantly poking fun at the DC superheroes, and there's a bit that makes fun of Stan Lee and his cameos. Like, they draw Stan Lee into the cartoon, and he like attacks the camera so that he can be on camera. It's pretty funny. And the music is really good. There's a song called Upbeat Inspirational Song About Life that the characters sing that's taken over by Michael Bolton as a keytar playing White Tiger.
Oh, wow.
That sounds great.
Hilarious. It's awesome. Everyone should go see it. It's an amazing movie. And I think the last time we recorded, I talked very negatively about the game Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep.
Yes.
I said it wasn't very good.
Uh-huh.
I have changed my opinion on it after putting in a few more hours into it. I actually think it might be my favorite Kingdom Hearts game.
Wow.
Yeah, I got a hang of the cool battle system in it where you like assign your character different like attacks and stuff like that, and you level them up, and then you can meld them into new attacks. So if you like level up your like one kind of Keyblade swing and you level up one like poison spell, you can combine them together for a like poison Keyblade attack that poisons your enemies.
That sounds cool.
It is cool, and the game is super fun to play, and the plot is really interesting, and surprisingly, the characters in it, like I've played as 2 characters so far, and they're all very well written and interesting. And it's just a lot of fun. There's cool Keyblades and cool enemies and lots of cool characters. I like it a lot.
Nice.
It's cool because like you don't see status effects in Kingdom Hearts games, and this one has like there's like slow and stop and poison and confuse, where if you get confuse cast on you, your controls get all jacked up and you don't know which direction that you're running.
So does it have a Donald and Goofy side characters help you out, or is it
No, you
like
play
that
as
at
a
all?
single character, but it has a mechanic in it called D-Link, which is a funny name. But you can D-Link with other characters that you meet, and you like charge up a meter as you attack characters, and you can do a special move that's related to that other character. So like the Mickey Mouse D-Link, it opens up like this little quick time event that lets you like shoot electricity all over the battlefield. And then there's ones for like other characters that you meet, like Cinderella or, you know, whatever. It's very cool. So yeah, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep is a good game. Matthew, how did you level up?
I went to a Comic-Con today.
Which one?
I went to the Tampa Bay Comic-Con, and I waited in line for daughter could get take a picture with Noah Schnapp from Stranger Things.
Is that the actor that plays the Trouble Boy?
Yes,
in
that is the actor that plays Will Byers.
When you posted a picture of him in the Square Roots group chat, I didn't recognize him without his bowl cut.
Yeah,
that
he
has
looked
in
a
the
little
show.
different. It was really cute, though. Like, we're waiting in line, and as the younger girls, like, you know, they take the picture, and then he hugs them, and they walk away. And I'm watching these girls, like, fucking faint over, basically. Like, walking away and, like, just like, ooh, he's so cute! And I was wondering if my daughter was going to do that, and she didn't get quite that absurd, but she definitely, like, I don't know, man. She, like, looked like a deer in the headlights when she was taking the picture with him. And then he gave her a hug. And then she just turned away and vanished. And, like, I followed after her. She, like, had no idea where she was going. She straight up just, like, walked away in a daze.
Aww. I just have a fun scenario of you getting right there to the end of the line, and she freaks out and runs away, and it's just you meeting this preteen icon. And he's like, and it just gets really awkward because you're like, no, I have a daughter, really. She ran away.
Well, anyway, it was cute. The other thing is, I've never been to a Comic-Con before, but it was kind of what I thought it was, which is just like nothing. I don't know. Maybe if I'd gone to some panels and stuff, it would have been neater. But for the most part, like, the floor, it's just a big place to buy things that I could just buy online. I don't get it. I will say that I do, to an extent. I kind of get it. The show floor is basically, hey, we're going to sell some IP protected, some copyright protected stuff that we don't have the right to sell. Oh, okay. So all these t-shirts and all this shit you've made. Got it. Can't sell it online. You'll get sued. Figured it out.
I'm Vanessa.
Oh, Vanessa's here. You want to...
Hi.
Vanessa, how did you level up?
I watched a movie called To Sir with Love, starring Sidney Poitier and Lulu.
To serve man?
To Serve a Man with Love. It's a movie from the 60s. It's a movie from 1967. And I watched it with my mom, who had seen it in the theater as a teenager.
The theater?
And she was super into it. And she really loved the kind of British music scene when she was a kid. And it's all about these East End British hoodlums and the teacher who comes to set them straight. It's basically Dangerous Minds, but in England in the 60s. And I knew who Sidney Poitier was, but I guess I'd never really watched him in anything that closely. But that dude's a great actor. I don't know if you knew.
I did.
He's like...
I've only ever seen that. He's the guy in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, right? I've seen that
he
one.
was great in this. It was a really, really low budget movie, and all of the teenagers are played by 25-year-olds. And Lulu wears a wig the whole time that just made me want to rip it off her head. It was atrocious. But, yeah, it's a pretty good movie. Sidney Poitier. Square Roots endorsed.
Lulu was in season 2 of The Secret Diary of Adrian Mole, and she played Adrian Mole's mother. She replaced the original one, and she was great.
I don't have anything against Lulu. I know a lot of people are like, Lulu's just a pop singer. Lulu's Bond theme wasn't good. You know what? I like it.
It was not. The man with the golden gun.
The golden shot means another poor victim has come to a glittering
It's
end.
really bad. I think that might be the worst Bond theme. Although Chris Cornell's is up there too.
Anyway, Lulu's great. Lulu, Square Roots endorsed.
Yeah.
The man with the golden gun. Square Roots endorsed.
Is that not what you were doing? Never mind.
That's not a Lulu song.
I'm profoundly in love with Pandora. Adolescence proves to be a strain.
Nobody got that.
What's that?
That's
You
the...
old motherfucker.
Nope.
The only
Lulu songs that anyone knows are "To Serve with Love" and "The Man with the Golden Gun."
I don't know who Lulu is. Jim, do you know who Lulu is?
I do not. I know who Lulu Dallas.
Lulu Dallas Multipass is a wonderful singer and has incredible fashion sense.
One of my friends had one of her
Mila
albums.
Jovovich?
What's her face? Who played Lulu? Yeah, it was not good.
All right.
Well,
Let's
guys,
do
we've
this.
all leveled up. I think it's time to talk about Final Fantasy VI.
Nice. That's a great game. Oh, am I not supposed to wait until the end? Final Judgment. Sorry, spoilers.
No,
I like it.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, actually,
Where
I
did we leave
appreciate
off
that.
last
Vanessa,
time?
good idea.
The-
Let's just wrap this whole series up right now. Final Fantasy VI.
No.
You fight a Kefka.
squarely
Yeah.
against.
Yay!
All right, so we've just abandoned the sealed gate, right?
Mhm.
All the Espers have flown out, and nobody
From the
knows
sealed
what
grate.
to do.
Don't let them fly out of there. That's the sewer.
That's where Pennywise lives.
You know what keeps that gate permanently
Pennywise?
closed there, Jim?
The Babadook.
Hmm.
I don't know what that is.
Uh, A Kiss from a Rose.
That's a good song.
Mm-hmm. Get it? Do you get my joke?
No.
It's good timing because Val Kilmer was at the Comic-Con I went to today.
Was he really? Did you talk to him?
No, not at all. I did hear the...
Why wouldn't you talk to
Because
him?
I
Talk
don't
to him about Kiss Kiss
care.
Bang Bang. That's a
That's
great
one
movie.
of the best movies ever
Yeah,
made.
What is?
I don't like
Kiss
to
Kiss
talk
Bang
to an
Bang.
actor unless I'm getting
Oh, it
paid
is.
to.
I just get really nervous talking to famous people.
Carrie Elwes was there, and there was an eruption of cheers when he peeked his head out from behind the curtain that he was behind doing his signing.
Everyone's like,
Everybody else
"It's
is at a
the
little
Bard!
table, and
It's
Val
the
Kilmer and
Bard!"
Carrie Elwes are in little nooks with curtains around them so nobody can see them. It was weird.
Why was Val Kilmer there talking about Batman?
sure, or Willow.
I don't know.
That was a fantasy movie.
It's
Oh, he was in
Comic-Con.
that science fiction movie with Denzel Washington too, where he goes back in time in Louisiana.
He kind of now his head looks like that. Remember that boss at the end of Tron, the first Tron? His head looks like that now.
I bet he's getting in shape, though. Making Top Gun 2. You know he doesn't want to
Oh, yeah,
show
that's
up
true.
looking
Oh
all...
yeah, he's gonna be Daddy Top Gun.
Mm-hmm. Val Kilmer wants to make $20,000 for a weekend, same as anyone
Yep.
else. That's why he was
Yep.
there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you think that's
And
what
Willow
they pay
is
him?
a
I
great
literally,
movie.
my daughter was asking me. She goes, "What? Do they get paid to be here and stuff from it?" And I was like, "Other than signatures and sightings and stuff." And I was like, "And photos and stuff." And I was like, "They must, right?"
They
Yeah,
get an appearance
I think
fee.
they get like a nominal amount of money and their travel expenses paid for, but the signatures and signings are where they make the bulk of their
Oh
money.
yeah,
Someone was saying they basically paid for a Porsche with one weekend.
Jesus.
that's crazy.
I did. There was the guy Rory McCann. He plays the mountain. No, not the mountain. He plays the Hound on Game of Thrones.
Oh,
Ooh,
if it
I
had
love
been the
that
Mountain,
guy.
And
I would
felt
have asked
very,
you for his phone
I
number.
felt bad about how short his line stayed.
You think the Hound is
Whereas-
cute, John?
No, the
No,
mountain.
He thinks the mountain.
Oh,
is
the
cute.
mountain.
Whereas the line for the Stranger Things kid, before I could get in line, I had to wait in line for the line. Eventually,
The
they shut
Hound
the
has
line
some
for the
of-
line down.
The Hound has some of
Did
the
I
best
see a-
lines in all of
Oh.
Game of Thrones, like where he threatens to eat that soldier's chicken because he's talking too much, or when
my God,
he
spoilers.
sees his brother for the first time and tells him that he's going to kill him at the end of the
Yeah.
last season.
Ooh.
Spoilers for Game of Thrones.
Wow.
Was the little girl from Gotham there? I thought I saw her on a banner
Yes.
in the photo you sent
Yep.
us.
She was the girl that plays Catwoman.
She's a great little
I don't know,
actress.
I've never watched
Mhm.
that show.
Didn't
A lot of
that
people did.
show get some shit for sexualizing those little girls too much?
One of the little girls accidentally turned into a little girl in the body of an adult
Yeah.
woman who goes around seducing grown
that's
men.
not
Oh,
good.
yikes.
That's some
What?
anime bullshit.
In the show?
Vanessa and
Yeah.
Jimothy's, I should have said this during my level up. Vanessa and Jimothy's favorite voice actor, Nolan North, was there.
Oh, Nolan North. I like that guy.
Yay!
Yeah, he's great.
I didn't see
But
any of those people.
I know
because
that you just
don't
brought that
care.
up to insult me because everyone knows my famous. I'm sorry. I'm so upset. I can't even
Oh,
speak.
wow.
Everyone knows my favorite voice actor is Crossing Jordan's Steve Valentine.
That's true.
I don't. Isn't he a real actor?
Voice actors are real actors. How dare
And
you?
everyone knows my favorite voice actor is Brian Blessed.
All right. I'm not going to derail us too much tonight because I swear to God, if we record until midnight, I'm going to personally reach this screen and strangle every single one of you. So, the sealed gate.
Yeah, we're on this ship and it gets bombarded by a bunch of espers and it crashes.
They mad.
Mhm.
They
They're
mad.
angry espers. So it crashes and then we are told that they're headed towards Vector,
Mm-hmm.
the Imperial capital. So that's where
the
we
man
have to
that was
go.
in 2 Sega games that people really liked, even though I personally didn't find them very good.
They were not good. And I like
never
Sega.
played a Vector Man.
It's like a worse Earthworm Jim.
Yeah. Well, I think it had more precise control. I think it had more precise controls than Earthworm Jim because literally
That's
every
true.
game ever made did. But
Yeah.
A worse
certainly
Earthworm
didn't have
Jim would
the-
be Booger Man.
yeah, there you go.
Worse Earthworm Jim.
I mean, it was smooth and fluid, but it was boring.
I'd say it was a
And ugly.
Sega Mega Man that had none of the charm or interesting level design of a Mega Man, and instead was
Yeah.
just a green man running through rooms shooting things.
And he was made of balls.
And he was made of nuts.
I
Balls,
could
balls, balls,
swear I
balls,
remember
balls.
Vector Man being yellow. Was he not yellow?
He was
No.
green.
He was green.
Oh, wow, weird.
Green like a booger man.
Green like a booger man. Quest
We're doing
Mog.
everything but talking about Final Fantasy VI.
So we go to
Quest
Vector
Mog.
and it's burning down, and we're kind of
It
like,
is-
let's just leave. Let these people die. They're
Yeah, that was the whole
Nazis.
plan.
They're Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
Things go weird here. Like, I don't understand the plan.
I like how, this is skipping ahead a little bit, but I like how after you talk to the Emperor, you go outside and everyone is just calmly walking around while the town is still in flames.
Where is
But
the fire
anyways,
department?
We get there and we learn that the Espers have attacked and they set a bunch of stuff on fire. And we're supposed to go talk to the Emperor. We see Sid, and he said that when the Espers got there and they found out that their buddies got turned into Magicite,
Big
they
yellow
got super
joint.
mad and
Big
decided to
yellow
burn
joint.
stuff down.
Come and meet me at the big yellow joint. Sorry, keep going.
And Sid says that the Emperor wants to talk to us. So, the Emperor comes out and he says that they're going to have a big dinner, which seems weird considering the town is on fire.
Yeah.
And then tells you to go talk to the soldiers to tell them that they need to stop being so mad at the Espers because they're going to end the war.
Now, the Espers have done a good job of breaking everything but the building where all the, like, army people live in. Why is that?
Good question.
It probably has a better, like, foundation or something.
Maybe defenses? Maybe they were, like, getting shot down by the flak.
They do have that cannon on top of it.
Yeah. Okay. It just seems like if you're gonna be mad at the Empire, you should probably blow up their, like, installations and not hurt innocent people.
Okay, well, between you and me, I think that to Espers, all people look alike, so they can't even tell the difference.
Whoa.
Look, that's just what I heard. It's just what I heard.
That sounds like bigotry against Espers with these unfounded stories that you've just heard. You've heard, you're not saying it, you've heard people say it. That's what you're saying, Vanessa.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I've heard people say that all humans look alike to Espers.
And you're also saying that, according to Espers, it's okay to kill civilians in their religion.
Look, the humans, like, whether they directly or indirectly turned the Espers into stones, they were complacent. They didn't do anything to stop it.
They had nothing. No one even knew what was going on. I'm just saying that these people were innocent, especially sexy grandma whose house got kind of knocked around a bit.
Oh, my house. Oh, my boys live in there.
But she was fine. I think that's her fuck shed, though, because it's only got one room. It's not
Yeah,
like her
and she
regular
does have,
house.
like, the two men off to the side.
It's
I
my
like
fuck
how
shed.
men have cuck sheds, but women have fuck sheds.
The way God intended it to be.
Mhm.
Let's be honest, Sexy Grandma is probably the Empress.
Ooh.
And that's just where she sneaks out to like get it on because Gestalt ain't satisfying.
Then why
Yeah.
is she like plotting against him? She's like some games
Because
of
she's
Throning.
a woman and she's plotting against her husband.
Ooh.
That's what they do.
She got his seed, and now she wants to destroy him.
Ooh, excellent. I like this.
She wants to put him in the cuck shed.
Right. Okay.
Who's getting
So,
put in the cuck shed?
The Emperor
Jim.
Gestalt.
Jim,
What?
are you
Huh.
going in a cuck shed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Put your gun away.
I
Jim.
just
So,
left the cuck shed.
In order to get the best prizes from the dinner, you now have to find 24 guards, which we'll talk about more in my little corner at the end of the episode.
It's dumb.
But this is real dumb.
So we go talk to the Emperor, and he says that he's had a change of heart, and he's put Kefka in jail for poisoning Doma, and he wants you to take his general named Leo, go to a place called Thamasa, and basically apologize to the Espers and try to broker some kind of a peace deal.
And we have a dialogue tree, like a for real
Ooh.
kind of
Yeah,
legit
he'll ask
dialogue
you
tree.
what he should do with Kefka, and you can tell him to execute him.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
But he also asks you other things, like what should we toast to?
Oh, that's
and
right. What did you guys toast to?
How are you guys feeling? I think I toasted to our hometown.
I did the same thing.
Our homelands.
I
Yeah.
tried to choose options that weren't supportive of the Empire or of the Returners, but kind of neutral.
Do
Yeah.
these have any effect on anything?
Yeah, they affect what kind of prize he gives you after the dinner.
Oh yeah, because when the guy tells you what prizes that you got, he will remark on your behavior at dinner.
Yeah, were you civil? Were you
Yeah.
too effusive, like transparently supportive of the Empire, or were you too aggressive?
Right.
So then they execute Kefka like we told them to.
I told them to put him in jail.
Yuck.
I said yeah to put him in jail and keep him there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I told them to execute them, so they drug him out and cut his head off on the spot.
No, game over. So we do that. We meet. This is where we meet General Leo. And General Leo is like he seems like a pretty good dude,
Mm-hmm.
right?
He's
call him
he's a
Lido?
nice guy.
Leo.
He doesn't believe in mass poisoning people. He's very military. He has a haircut like Gayu
I mean, he
from
does-
Street Fighter
He does
2.
believe in invading innocent countries and enslaving them, but not using poison. Okay, you're a good dude.
Yeah.
He's not enslaving them. He's just helping them restructure and build new friendly governments that help serve our purposes. I mean, their purposes.
Mhm.
He's a colonialist.
Yeah.
Fucking colonizer.
Oh, for a special day that's happening next week, in celebration, I bought myself a large bag of caramel corn.
That looks like a bag of diapers.
It's a
I
bag of
thought
caramel
it was a
corn.
big bag of sugar.
I mean, it
Like,
really
are you
is.
just
if you
gonna
think about it.
mainline some sugar?
Back to the show.
The good news is when you're done eating that, it can be a diaper. It's fine.
Mhm. Now,
Sometimes I forget that Vanessa was the first person to ever send in fan art. Y'all remember that?
that's right. I drew a picture of you guys. It was great.
And then you got on the show. Listeners, now you know what you need to do.
Well, then
That's all it takes.
the next person will be Race Jenkins, new host.
I'm sure Race would do a fine job.
He would. So,
But we're full up, Race. Sorry, sucker.
Yeah, I'm not editing 5 tracks. 4 is already a pain in the ass.
all right. So where were we? We were supposed to go to Thamasa by way of Albrook.
Yeah, you gotta go to
we
Albrook
meet
to get on
everyone
the
in
boat.
Albrook.
Yeah, Leo's there
And-
with Celeste and his best friend, Shadow.
I like how he's like, here's two people you have never met before and are total strangers, and it's Celeste and Shadow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shadow's
And
a
Celeste
douchebag.
and Locke are having a moment. We didn't go on about last episode. We got an angry letter saying that we did not go into detail on why Locke and Celeste or why Celeste thought that Locke was replacing her with Rachel, which is a whole thing that happens. But that's basically it. We talked about it enough.
That made sense, though. Like, that does seem to be what's happening. And also, I believe that was a Facebook post, not a letter.
Well,
Wait, with Tara, you mean? Because Rachel is his dead
No,
girl.
yes, with Rachel.
Yeah.
Rachel.
He's using Celeste to replace Rachel. He is.
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah.
That's
It's
probably
also-
true.
Like,
in
that's
Brian
legit.
Pitt's translation, Rachel is officially dead, but they say she's not quite dead in the English version. But she is. They've just preserved her dead body in the Japanese version.
Well, but they also say that Locke is trying to find. Hang on, stop making noise. Locke is trying to find her spirit or something. Like he's like,
Yeah.
ooh, if you can find her
Yeah.
spirit and return it, who knows? But don't worry, she smells like roses. Body's still.
Yeah, I guess Celeste has
preserved.
realized that if Rachel comes back to life, Locke will probably go back to her, which is not a great feeling.
But right now, she's just mad at when you meet her with General Leo. She's just mad at him because he assumed she was betraying them because Kefka said so, even though Kefka is not very trustworthy.
I don't
Right,
remember her
yeah.
putting up much of a strong defense for herself, though. Like,
No,
bare
she did
minimum,
not.
You have to be
She
like,
didn't
hey,
say
no.
Well, why would she? She's like,
'Cause
she's
you have to
being like kind of a
respond.
double agent a little bit.
But she wasn't.
No, I mean, that would be so, like, if someone came to you and was like, John has been doing another podcast behind your back, and I was just like, John, how dare you? Instead of like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound like John.
But
Why
that's
not?
not
I
what
told-
Locke does. He does not
She
go,
didn't-
how
she
dare
didn't-
you? He's like, wait,
He
are
didn't
you sure?
even give her the benefit of the doubt.
None of this is true.
He says like he just acts shocked, and then she runs away with Kefka because she's upset, and that's why she's with General Leo. I don't
Right.
know. It was very
John
weird.
gets it. He does not like turn around
Listen.
and go, Celeste, how dare you? He's just like,
He kind
wait.
of He's
I mean,
like
he's
what?
like, Celeste, is this true? And then she just bails forever and then gets mad at him. And
Well, she doesn't like confrontation. I can identify
it's
with
still
that.
bullshit. Like if somebody
She's
accuses
a
you of something, you
general.
have to be like, no.
She's a peaceful general.
She's a general
Like
who
if
doesn't
somebody
like
came and
confrontation.
said, guys, did you know that Matt's a murderer? And I just kind of sat there quietly. What would be your response to that?
Yeah, she probably did anyway. So they're not talking right now, and Celeste is like, Locke's like, hey, can we talk for a minute? Celeste is like, no, and she just walks away.
No, that's not what happens either, is it? Doesn't she just
Yes, it
kind of
does.
like...
That happens in the nighttime scene.
Yeah,
They sleep at the inn, and Celeste is outside, and Locke goes out there, and he's like, "Will you talk to me?" And she just silently walks away.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I didn't get the
She's cold
impression that she
shouldering
was
it big
like...
time.
I didn't get the impression that she was cold shouldering so much as just like unable to confront him. Like-
yeah, I don't know.
She's punishing him with her silence.
Whoa.
Oh.
Yee.
I hate the silent
Yeah.
treatment.
Me too. Oh,
That's
God.
emotionally abusive, Celeste.
I dated one guy who would totally do that for like a week,
That
That's-
sucks.
and we lived together.
It's such a baby thing
It is.
to
It's
do.
so childish.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing if you need space and you can say to the person, I understand you want to talk about this. For my emotional needs, I just need space. I know that's difficult for you, but that's what I need right now. But just to be like, bye. No.
I feel like Vanessa like in Vanessa's relationships, Vanessa is like gives you like a college dissertation on how she feels as opposed to like this is what I need right now, as opposed to just being like, I'm gonna go to my room.
See, I like that. I'd much rather have someone tell me what's up so I know what's up than be like trying to guess what's wrong and what I did wrong. And
Yeah,
so
that's the
Celeste just
worst.
needs to air her grievances with Locke, or okay, and not to say that she has to, but if she wants this to go somewhere, she needs to express her difficulties and see if they can communicate. But she just avoids it and walks away.
So I
Yeah,
wanna,
Locke's kind of being.
her silence is not a healthy display of emotion.
So I just want to follow this up with my previous analogy. So somebody told you that I'm a murderer, and my response was to sit quietly and like look at you. And then I show back up with some murderers later. And let's say it's John for some reason. Like, he still is just like, Matt, let's talk. And I just don't say anything. At that point, it is safe to assume that I am a murderer.
Possibly.
Yeah.
If you don't say anything, it makes it seem like you're gonna murder.
Do you guys want to know a fun fact about your right to remain silent?
really.
Sure.
Yeah.
You have to invoke your right to remain silent by saying, I wish to remain silent, or else they can keep questioning you.
Oh, interesting.
That is interesting.
If you just sit there and are quiet, then they can say, oh, we just kept, interrogating them because they didn't invoke their right to remain silent. So remaining silent is not in and of itself an invocation of your right.
All right. Well, now
I read that on cracked.com or something.
Sure.
the best source for information.
That's where you got all your information on that subject. Moving on.
That's where I got
So
it.
anyway, we go to this mountain town called. Is it the mountain or it's close to a mountain? We go to
We're in the
Thamasa.
port town right now. We're in the port town, right?
Yeah, I'm saying. Then we go to Thamasa.
We
Yeah,
take
then we
a
go
long
to-
boat ride.
Yeah, then we go
That's
to
right.
Thamasa, and that's where we meet all the silly Magi people. Like, okay, do you guys say Strago or Strago?
Strago.
Strategio.
Yes.
Stratego.
Yeah, so Strago? No, Strago sounds better.
I
don't
say
know.
Strago in
Strategio.
my brain. But
Let's-
there's lots of weird stuff happening in this town. Like, there's this one little girl running around who I don't remember what's wrong with her, but she asked her mom to use Cure on her.
Yeah. She like skins her knee.
Yeah, they're like talking about magic, and it's like,
And then
can
they
these
see
people
you
use
and they're like,
magic?
never mind.
But we meet a man named Strago.
How weird
Wait,
is it that
you
even
just
the
said Strago.
children... How weird is it that even the children refer to the spells by their video game names?
Yeah,
Mommy,
can you use Cure 2 on me?
Cure 1, please?
Have you leveled up your Cure spell yet?
So in the phone version, do they call it Cure 1, 2, 3, or do they call it Cura, Curaga, and
They call it
Cure?
Curaga, and
Okay.
Cura.
Because in the Super Nintendo version, it was 1, 2, and 3.
Mine's
really?
yeah, because Kefka later it made me laugh when he was fighting the Emperor and he says Fire 2 and he uses Fire 2.
That's super lame.
Well, those Americans don't understand how these things work, according to Square Enix.
So this old man is pretty. He's got like a really. He's got another David Bowie style haircut, I would say.
You think so? I think he's
A
like
little.
bald with like a mohawk.
Oh, is it a mohawk? Okay.
Maybe not
He
a
has a
mohawk,
mohawk?
but like a stripe of hair up top.
Yeah, I think it's a mohawk kind of thing.
He's a cool looking old man. He's got like a fancy magician looking cape.
Uh-huh. Big red cape.
Ah, he's dope as heck.
And yeah, he's quite dope. Indeed.
Yeah, in the Amano art, it's definitely a mohawkish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is.
Assuming this is the Amano art, I think it is.
And you're asking him how to get to Esper Town. And he's like, maybe
He's
take
like,
them out."
oh, Espers, I don't know anything about that.
He's like, I never heard of
What's an
that.
Esper? I don't know magic.
I'm just standing around in this red cape for no reason.
And then his precocious little granddaughter shows up.
Yay!
Yay! She is my favorite Final Fantasy character
Ever?
of all time.
Really?
Ever.
Of all time?
Why?
Of all
She wears a beret.
time.
So many
wears a
people
beret.
like her so much, and I was expecting to really just be charmed by this girl, and it did not happen.
I think that she is around the same age I was when I first played this game, so
Aw.
that probably has something to
I
do
don't
with it.
think so, Vanessa.
How dare you.
How old do you think she's supposed to be?
Isn't she supposed to be like 10 or 8?
Yeah, she says that she's 10.
Yeah. So no, not buying that for a second.
Jesus Christ, John.
How dare you?
But she's cool. She is super cool. I really like her as a character. I can't figure out how to use her
I want to
as
say again,
a
why?
character. I don't know. Like she's fun. She's perky and funny. Like I don't know. She's got like she's that nice kid. I don't know. I like that style of character.
She's
Like,
a precocious kid. Ugh.
But she's fun. And her ability is really unusual, and I think I can't think of any other
is.
Final Fantasy that uses her particular ability.
It does, to at least, unless I missed some special way of doing it, it is pretty useless.
I think it depend. Yeah, I couldn't figure it out. I
neither.
this episode, this chunker, I concentrated on figuring out Strago, and I did get him some moves, but I never really used her enough to do much
Strago,
with her.
also known as our second blue mage, because the creators of Final Fantasy know how much we love blue mages.
They they actually call him a blue mage.
Because
Like, whereas Gao is like he's just like copycat guy. I don't know what his deal is. He's
They're
not really
all,
a blue
like,
mage.
I would call Gao, Strago, and Realm all blue mages. Like they are using enemy techniques against them.
That's true.
I guess I wouldn't consider Realm a blue mage because she doesn't learn those skills, unlike Gao and Strago.
Realm has a piece of unique equipment that you can't have now, but you will get later, that makes her a lot more useful. It allows her to control any enemy on the screen.
What?
So
That's cool.
basically,
What?
you entrance the enemy, and then you can choose attacks or spells for the enemy to cast on the other
All right,
enemies.
well,
Oh,
now
wow.
I'm fucking pissed off that I didn't know that.
Interesting.
But we'll
And
get
there's
to that
a
when we
neat
get
little
to
moment here with Realm and Shadow's pupper,
Oh yeah, I like this.
where like the dog really takes to Realm and Shadow's like, Interceptor usually doesn't like people, but it's kind of hinted that there's something going on there because they mentioned it a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
The whole pupper Realm Shadow scenario. I guess we'll learn more about
Yeah.
that later.
Pupper is into Realm.
Yes. Oh, well, yeah, I guess it comes out, like, right after this when everybody goes to sleep and a fire breaks out in the mansion.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where the cat comes out of the bag on the whole magic thing because Strago's just like, fuck it. And he starts casting magic on the mansion to try to get the fire out. And they're like, no, you can't use magic. And he's like, I'm going to do it anyway. And then he tries to cast like his sparkle magic on the mansion and it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, he throws some glitter
Yeah.
at it.
But
Man,
then the
he's
whole
got
town
aqua
gets
breath.
together.
These guys suck as mages.
Mm-hmm. But the whole I like this scene. The whole town gathers to try and save the kid, but it doesn't work.
Yeah, so we got to bust into this fire and then fight the fire.
But like
Yeah.
each person in the town uses their magic one by one, even like the little kid and the old lady. They're all like
Mhm.
casting it.
Yeah,
And then you have to jump in and fight fire with ice.
fire.
This
Oh.
is so stupid. I thought we were
Yeah,
just
the
gonna
fire
have to
is
run in
walking
the
around
mansion.
like it's a mob.
Yeah, the fire, it's like fireballs. I thought you were just gonna have to run in the mansion and get her, but no, you have to, they make this a little stupid dungeon where you have to attack fireballs.
So what was she doing in there?
I don't know.
Was she running
I don't know that it ever
away?
said.
Was she stealing?
She was probably visiting her boyfriend or something.
Oh, how old is she?
10.
She doesn't have a boyfriend if she's 10.
10-year-olds have like what they call boyfriends.
Not
They're
a
like, "This is my
boyfriend that they
boyfriend.
would
We go and
sneak
get
out of the
ice cream
house to go
together."
spend the night with.
That's true.
I don't think I got all the treasures in here, and I was a little mad. Because if you go
Yeah,
down the
because
wrong
it's
door,
a timer.
you have to fight a boss.
Oof. There's
So
a
you
boss
have
in
to
here?
fight fire with fire. Except don't do that because fire heals fire.
Yeah, don't fight fire with fire. Come on.
Fire heals fire.
Yes. Just like in real life.
Yeah, but it doesn't heal burns.
No, it does not. Poor Mr. Burns cannot be healed with fire. And
So,
you find her eventually, and there's like some demon that's causing this whole thing. That she's been like, I don't know, she's summoned or something?
I didn't understand what was happening here.
I think she's summoned
Well,
it.
that is where magic comes from, is from pacts with underworld demons
Yeah,
and minions of Lucifer, the morning star.
I think she was practicing her magic and accidentally summoned this like fire demon thing. And in the end, she helps you defeat it because she can use like her sketch technique. Isn't that this part?
Yes.
Where
Oh, no,
she's like,
She has a special.
No, that's not it. She uses the sketch on a wonderful boss
yes,
right after.
later
Yeah,
on.
no,
Yeah, she doesn't do anything.
you just fight it, and then Shadow dives in to rescue you because you all fall unconscious for some reason.
Smoke inhalation.
Yeah, I guess that's true. There's a lot of fire going on, walking
Yep.
around.
Yep.
So Shadow saves you all for some reason.
What else is he gonna do?
Yeah.
He's an assassin with a heart of gold.
And everyone in the town's a lot nicer to you now because you saved the little girl, and Strago decides to help you, and the mayor and Strago like talk things out.
Well, and also they realize that you can use magic as well.
Right. And they will help you show you where the cave to get to the like back entrance of the Esper town is.
Yeah.
Oh. I didn't quite get where you were going. Like, you don't go to the Esper city though, right? You go somewhere else.
You go somewhere else.
Okay.
You go to where the Espers are hiding.
Oh, yes. Yes, that's right. And they're hiding there because Strago is like, okay, well, first of all, Realm is going to stay home because she's 10 and she should not be fighting with us, which is something I totally agree with. Finally, a game puts its
Don't
foot
want
down.
another Sue situation.
And she calls him an old fuddy-duddy and gets mad about that. And so you go off on an adventure to another dungeon. And
Mountain time.
do you notice there's a character that keeps popping up around corners when you're going through this dungeon?
No, someone's watching
Did you
us?
see that?
No.
It's Realm.
Oh.
She's following us into this dungeon.
What a precocious little child.
She is precocious. And
Shut
you
up.
get through like a bunch of doors and stuff into this maze of a cavern until you find these they look like 3 Oscars, maybe 3 Emmys.
I think that's just wishful thinking on your part.
I think
Ron.
one of them does kind of look like an Emmy, and then one of them's like
Yeah.
a demon.
Oh, okay.
One of them's an Emmy, one of them's a Demi.
My ex had an Emmy.
And the third one is a
Flemmy.
Fleming.
So the closest I can get to an Emmy is dating someone who has one.
Oh.
I know.
I knew someone who had one for work on a show called Sesame Street.
Oh my.
Mm-hmm.
So these statues aren't the actual gods themselves, but they are the warring triad, representing the 3 parts of them. One's like Ultimos or Ultima, and that's like the strength, and then there's, I don't know, magic and something else. Who knows? I haven't got introduced to the other 2.
It's the ego, the id, and the
Superego?
ethos.
Oh, okay. So basically, these were like the forces that created the universe, and they also can destroy it. And to like maintain their power in check, they've been set into this like triangle formation where they're all staring at each other, so that they keep the other 2 balanced and not.
Like one of them Doctor Who angels.
Oh. So they are permanently looking at each other forever, and these statues are like, I guess to commemorate that for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Something like that.
Anyway.
You learned some sick ass lore.
Yeah. And then we noticed that Realm's been following us at this point, right?
Mhm.
She jumps in the fight with Ultros.
Oh, right, because Ultros comes back again.
Yeah.
What?
Yay!
He's my favorite.
He's the best. And this time, Ultros meets his match himself.
Bum,
Yeah,
bum,
His
bum.
match is Realm. Because Realm decides to start crying because the octopus is mean. And then the other characters scold Ultros for making a child cry. And Realm is like, I want to paint your picture, Ultros. And Ultros is like, you can't paint what? No, we're having a battle. I don't want some kid to draw me in crayon or something. And then she cries some more, and he gets very scolded. And so then he realizes he was wrong, and he reluctantly says, okay, Uncle Ulti
Yeah.
really wants you to
That's
paint
so
his
silly.
picture. And so she does. And when Realm paints something, it comes to life. And she uses her painting of Ultros to attack Ultros with his own attacks.
Yay!
We
And
did
he
it.
doesn't. We outsmarted Ultros there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the one time that move is useful.
Yeah, really, until you get her control brush, it's not that great. But controlling enemies is fantastic
Okay.
because they won't attack you; they'll attack someone else.
Ooh.
Boy, that seems like it would have been something really useful that maybe the game would have, I don't know, like made
Guided you
apparent,
towards.
guided you towards, or maybe even just kind of made that like her power instead of this nonsense.
Her power is also good for setting up her dad to get lore. So she's really useful, or her granddad. She's really useful at getting her granddad to have more abilities. I used that a couple of times.
How so?
Well, there's one ability from the Onion Knight that Realm can use if she paints the Onion Knight, and then the granddad learns it. And a few other enemies work like that. Is that Realm gets a high chance of doing a super attack from one of the enemies, and if the granddad sees the super attack and you finish the fight, then you get that added to the lore.
Oh, well, that's delightful. He's learning from his granddaughter.
Yeah, he can also learn from Gao.
Yo, your friend. Friend!
Oh, I spent like 2 hours on the Velt this chunker. I played quite a bit. Anyway, so you defeat Ultros, and then you can go to the back room where all of the Espers are hiding.
Wolfman. All the Wolfmen and the Pixies.
They seem to want to kill you right away.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. They're like, hey, it's a heckin' human. I can't tell them apart. Let's kill it.
They have like a leader Esper guy named Yura.
You're a kidding.
Oh, yikes.
We have fun on this show.
And that was the joke that made us a comedy podcast.
Can officially change it in iTunes now.
All right. So why does Yura decide not to murder us? Is it because Terra's there?
I think so. I don't remember.
Vanessa.
Yes, I also don't remember.
Anyways,
Yeah.
they realize the error of their ways and they feel real bad about being damaging.
Yeah, I think they're like, we lost control, we didn't mean to do that, and now they're like hiding in this cave because of their like guilt
Shame.
and shame.
And Terra's like, yeah, same thing happened to me when I gained my Esper powers. I like went bonkers for a little while. It's like everyone when
She
when
sure
you
did.
hit Esper puberty, you go a little nuts for a couple of years, but then you
Mhm.
kind of settle down.
Yeah, your body is flooded with new chemicals, and you start to take an interest in other people in a way that you didn't before, and it's very confusing.
Mhm.
They get sent on their Esper Rumspringa and they just go around and set fire to buildings.
I mean, I certainly did when I hit my Esper puberty.
But they agree to talk to the Empire to broker like a peace. They're like, we don't want this war to start up again. It was pretty lame. So we'll talk to them. That goes really well too, by the way.
It goes great.
Yeah, this is the end of the game. If anybody didn't know, like,
Oh,
the Espers go talk to the Empire, and Kefka shows up and says he's sorry about poisoning Doma.
And all the people from Doma show up and are like, "It's okay, we survived. It just gave
Yay!
gave us mild diarrhea."
They have one of those.
The Espers stop the ghost train and turn it around.
They have one of those parades like at the end of Super Mario Brothers where they just parade all the enemies out and everybody leads like a big fanfare.
Yay!
It's very heartwarming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's not what happens.
Oh no.
Oh.
So where do they meet again?
They're just in.
They go back to
They go to
that
Albrook?
magic town.
Yeah. No, Theresa.
Oh,
Thamasa.
Thamasa.
Sure.
They go
That
to Thamasa and start talking, and then, oops, Kefka shows up.
With a couple of magic
and he's
knights.
And he's
Yeah,
like,
Magitech
"Wah,
dude.
wah, wah."
Kefka's supposed to be locked away forever.
And he zaps people. He zaps his own guards. Or
I
like
just
the other
realized
Imperial
that-
troops.
I just realized that Kefka is fantasy Waluigi.
Mm.
Wah, wah, wah.
And they start blowing away some troops of their own for some reason. And General Leo is like, "Hey, what you doing, buddy?"
And then he fights Kefka.
And you'd think General Leo, he's a general. He must be pretty powerful, but no.
He's not a magic man.
Nope.
I like how he tricks Leo by, like, creating a mirage of the Emperor. And then promptly jumps on him and murders him.
He's been crunching all these magical Jolly Ranchers, and now
There's something about, like, sprite on sprite, like, physical combat that is unintentionally hilarious to me.
Yeah, because they can only just sort of like boof together.
But General Leo
So,
gets killed.
Yeah, he is gone for now.
And
Wait,
Kefka,
for now?
like,
Or forever? I think
He's
he's gone
We'll have to
forever
find
'cause
out.
he's dead.
I guess maybe there's more. We'll find out another. I don't know. I thought this was it for General Leo.
No, this is it. It was like a huge. The original Final Fantasy VI internet rumor was that somehow you could find a way to resurrect General Leo
Oh.
and have him in your party, and that went around forever.
Oh, okay.
One of those.
And this game does have a lot of quests about trying to bring people back from the dead and unsuccessfully doing so that makes sense.
spoiler alert.
So, after General Leo gets killed, Kefka decides to declare it a free-for-all on turning poor innocent Espers into Jolly Ranchers.
I don't understand how he can just do this now. Didn't they need, like, big machines to put them into tubes to suck their energy out before they turned into Magicite before?
No, because they didn't know that they were sucking their magic out, and
Yes.
then we found out that if they die, they turn into Magicite.
Oh, that's
and
right,
that
because
the
he does
Magicite's
battle.
way more
He
powerful anyway.
does
he's like,
battle
"Oh,
one
this
of
is
them,
way
doesn't he?
easier."
He battles Shiva and Ifrit.
Yeah.
Does he?
No,
Early on,
you
yeah.
battle Shiva and
Oh,
well,
yeah.
he just
No.
knocks them into the garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Puts
but
them in the trash where they
during-
belong.
Doesn't because he battles one of the Espers that are here because he beats him and calls him a wimp,
Oh, maybe.
and then he just turns all the Espers into Magicite.
Right? Yes.
Yeah.
It's the one. it looks like Ifrit, another Ifrit sprite.
It does. Yeah.
He's
I
got,
thought it
like-
was Yura. Maybe I'm
Could
wrong.
be.
He's got like laser gun fingers, and he just keeps pewing them, and they turn into Jolly Ranchers. It's
Well,
Yeah.
pew pew
He's
pew
got
pew.
some like he's absorbing all these magic powers, so he's getting really powerful, and he kills all the Espers that were you rounded up for this peace party. It was a real bad idea from the beginning. What was going on?
It's terrible. He takes them all.
I
Unfortunately,
was not 100% sure at this point whether or not he had broken out and was doing this on his own, or if he was working with the Emperor.
Yeah, me neither.
it becomes clear in the next next section of this chunker.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then Gestalt shows up and is like, wah, wah, wah.
Oh my god, spoilers.
I trickified
Well, that's-
you.
That's literally what happens next, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. So after Kefka kills all the Espers that have come down to the human part, the Earth gets mad and starts.
The Earth gets mad.
That seems to be what happens. Like he shifts some kind of magical balance, and like a floating continent shows up because he's screwing around with stuff.
Don't they like break a seal on something? Didn't it imply that they broke the seal on like the Magic Mountain or something?
Yeah, something with the statues or something
No,
like
I think aren't the Espers mad and they throw the door open? No, that happened before. That's when they kill. I don't know. Something happens.
Boy.
Somehow something got messed up somewhere.
And now there's a floating continent.
Yeah, then the big island rises into the sky.
And you see a little child and like an old lady fall.
Yeah.
As the earth cracks
and you also
up.
Yeah, they like fall off the edge.
Like there's
it's
a nice
terrible.
little cut to some returner troops fighting some Empire troops, and then there's like this big fissure that opens up between them.
Mm-hmm.
That's neat.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, then the land just flies up into the air, and everyone's like, "Oh, this is bad."
Ish just got real.
Mm-hmm. So what'd you guys do at this point? Because you can go to the floating continent, but there's kind of no going back from that, really, if you complete the floating continent. So there's a lot of stuff that gets locked out if you don't do it now.
I forgot to go to Doma, which gets unlocked. But Vanessa, what did you do?
I went to Narshi. Earlier in the game, I had met this dude named Lone Wolf, and he, I guess, was a pickpocket, and he was locked up in Edgar's castle, and he runs away. He gets out, and he goes to Narche, and in Narche, he is on a crime spree, and so I found him and chased him around through the town and eventually chased him up to the top of the mountain through the caves and whatnot. And there he has a Moogle. And he's like, "Don't come any closer or I'll chuck this Moogle over the edge of the mountain." And I was like, "Oh shit." And then he does that. And the Moogle somehow also kicks him at the same time. And so he ends up hanging from a cliff as well. And the Moogle is like, "Kapo, kapo," as he hangs from an edge, like, of the ledge. And Lone Wolf the pickpocket is like, "Hey, save me and I'll give you some shit I stole." But I saved the Moogle. And the Moogle decides to join your party. And his name is Mog.
Is this the only chance to get the Moogle? Or can
I think you can get him in the World of Ruin as well.
Good, because I don't want to miss that.
Yeah, Moogle is great. Moogle name is Mog. Moogle say kapo po.
Moogle use tridents,
Moogle
and stabs and lances.
Moogle use trident to stab, and Moogle has a special ability called dance.
Moogle dance.
And yep.
Dance, Moogle,
And
dance,
he
Moogle,
learns
dance, Moogle, dance.
more
Moogle.
dances based on the geography of the land that he's on. So if he's on a field, he does a field dance. And if he's in the desert, he does a hot foot desert dance. And if he's in a cold mountain, he does a shiver shake kind of
It's
shimmy.
called a Snowman Rhapsody.
Yep. So you can actually take him on an epic Moogle journey, kind of from, what's it called? The town where Celeste was locked up.
South
What's
Figaro?
that called? South Figaro. Can take him from South Figaro through the fields and the mountains, and then along that river by the returner base, and then on over to the Veldt and through the haunted forest and everything. And by doing that journey, he will learn every one of his dances.
Can you use them outside of that area?
Yes.
Ah.
Once he learns it, he can do his dance anywhere.
Okay.
And some of them have healing abilities, and some of them have attack damage, and some of them do other kind of stat
Yeah, it seems like
buffers.
they all have multiple things that they do, and it's just kind of random which one it does. per turn.
Yes.
So one turn he'll hit him,
Mhm.
and the next turn he'll heal you, and then another turn he'll fall on his face.
Mm-hmm. I think that his most useful dance, in my opinion, is his Leviathan dance, which he learns from the water. I don't think it's actually called that, though. It's called something else. It's called
They're all-
Water Harmony.
Yeah, they're all named like this or that music term. This jazz, that tap, this rhapsody, that.
Yeah, so he has a dance called Water Harmony or Water Rondo,
Water
which you can
Rondo,
learn. I learned it in the Serpent Trench, because I think you can only learn it underwater, and it can heal your enemies and also does like a bubble attack sometimes and things like that.
I think that's one of the dances that gets locked out after the floating continent scenario is you can't get the water rondo.
Damn it.
No.
I think.
But he's real good at dancing most of the time. Sometimes he trips and falls.
Oh, well. I'll be okay even without the water rondo.
Yeah. But that's Mog, and that's what I did. What did you do, John?
Well, I took Strago and Gao to the Veld to see what I could learn. So I got a bunch of new monsters for Gao. And with Strago, I learned a few things. I learned Death or Doom. And one call. Okay, so this is weird. You have to find an Unseelie, which are around South Figaro or on the Veld. They're like those, the mechanics that throw wrenches? But this guy's wearing a blue jumpsuit. And there's an ability it will only use when confused. So you have to find it, you have to confuse it, and then wait like it's a random thing that it sometimes does called Traveler, which does damage based on how much you've walked in the world. And so that's the only way to get this weird ability early. And so I got that. And the more you walk, the more damage it does.
Interesting.
Yeah. And that's about... I forgot to go to Domo, which I feel very dumb about.
You feel very Domo?
Dumbo.
Yes, Domo. Did anyone go to Domo before the end of the world?
What's there? I don't remember.
Did not.
I think just treasure. I did go to the armory because I did well at the... well enough to unlock the armory at the dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And I got some nice items there. Oh, one funny thing, in the next dungeon, the floating continent, Matt, I always steal with Locke. He's always in my party. And I got a Genji glove from a dragon. I thought that was funny. But then I died at the boss, so I did not keep it.
Oh, you lost
I
your
lost
Genji
that extra
glove.
Genji glove.
Hmm.
Anyway, what about you, Jim? Did you do anything fun before?
I just made sure to get Mog, so I did that. And then I don't know. I don't have a lot of patience for blue mages. Just it seems like a grindy thing. I mean, he learned a couple things, but it's not something I've put a lot of effort into at this point. I did do some more like spell learning, like Esper spell learning amongst my other party members. But that's about it.
I grinded for about half an hour on the floating continent and made sure to have like stuff like HP plus 10%. So just to give people tons of HP.
Yeah.
What about you, Matt?
I did that stuff.
You got Mog?
Yeah.
I'm the only one who didn't get Mog. I feel dumb. Oh.
Why didn't you get him?
I didn't look at... I thought he was a after the World of Ruin thing.
World of
He
what?
might be.
What are you talking about?
What? Nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
So we go to the floating
after
continent.
we do our errands and things, yeah, we're flying up there in our airship.
And there's some nonsense about the Warring Triad statues.
Yes, that they're going to be knocked out of balance, maybe? Who knows? They're the things that...
So,
you get attacked by robots.
What?
You get attacked by robots on the way to the floating continent.
What's the deal with the Warring
Sky
Triad
robots.
statues, Jim?
Oh. So apparently, back in the olden days, 3 goddesses were banished from wherever, and they came to Earth. And eventually they started feuding with each other. and it was a big war that was destroying the planet, and any humans who got caught in the crossfire became Espers. And
Ooh.
eventually the goddesses said, you know what? We're being mocked by the other gods who banished us here, and we're causing a lot of destruction. So we're going to agree to seal away ourselves and our power in these statues, and the balance of the world is going to be dependent on our alignment with each other.
Because they cancel out each other's powers, basically.
Yes.
Also, we should note, before you get on the airship, Realm and Strago are... Strago's like, I want to come with you guys. And Realm's like, I want to come too. And Strago's like, nah. But she's like, come on. And he's like, I guess no matter what, you're going to come anyway, so might as well.
Yeah.
They're part of your party.
I was very intimidated by the floating continent, because the monster designs here are pretty cool and detailed.
And
They remind me
hard.
of some of the crazier Phantasy Star ones, like lots of weird bodies and gross biohorror and stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat.
Lots of over-leveled monsters that beat me up a lot.
Yeah, I gained with my party about 6 levels just before I wanted to fight the boss.
But I do want to bring up that before we land, we meet a friend in the sky.
Oh, yeah!
Oh, God.
One more
Again.
time.
Yeah, you are flying through the air, and who should show up but your old pal Otros.
Otros?
Ultros,
Los Otros.
who is, of course, flying, as all octopus do. And he has his best friend with him, who is sometimes called Typhon, but sometimes called Chupon. Chupon. Chupon is...
Mr. Chupon.
This guy blows.
Chupon.
He looks like a skid mark.
Chupon. He looked like a Slimer, but with more teeth and little ears.
He's like an angry flame.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's Ultros's best friend.
Oh, I'm glad that Ultros... I was a little worried about the guy. I'm glad that
How
he has...
is
Yeah,
Ultros
he didn't
flying,
seem like
by
he
the
had
way?
a lot of
He's the prince
octopower.
of octopuses.
He's the prince of octopus. Yeah.
Do you, when Ultros helps destroy this airship... Oh, no, he doesn't destroy the airship, I guess. Never mind. I was going to say, this reminds me a bit of Ultros' cameo in Final Fantasy 15, where he's on the airship.
Yeah, that was
That
great.
was
That's the only good part of that movie. King's Glaive.
Yeah, there weren't even chocobos in it.
There was a picture of a chocobo.
Yeah.
They did have a diamond weapon in it, if you like Final Fantasy VII.
Well, I don't.
Aw.
So Ultros has his pal,
Mhm.
and his pal can do a special move called Sneeze.
It's called something else. It's called, Snuff, or... It's called something else in the version I played.
I think mine. I think so. I think it was snuff or something like that.
But it
I don't
basically
remember.
blows you off of the battle arena.
Yes.
So you can no longer get XP or do any actions or anything. You're gone. It's almost like that X zone spell in 12.
Yeah, exactly. So you better kill him fast, or your whole party will be gone.
The whole part, I didn't kill him. I think he blew away all my party, and we landed on the
no.
continent.
Gasp. Yeah, I think that's scripted to happen.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
So he huffs and puffs and blows you down. And there you are stuck.
Except for you can get
We-
off anytime you want because your ship is still there.
Yeah, you can just jump.
I never
back
did
onto the
that.
ship.
Like, if
neither.
you go back on the ship, do you have to restart the whole dungeon?
Yes.
Oh. I guess it's good if you want to level up all your characters.
Now at this point, we have to break up into 2 parties, right? that
No,
later
it
on?
just says choose 3 people. So I chose 3 people.
That's right.
Why not 4?
Because you need an extra space for someone who will show up.
Yeah.
Someone who sucks.
Oh.
Jim, who shows up?
Well, you find out immediately after you get to the continent.
Yep.
Because he's lying on the ground. It's Shadow.
You see his muscular butt as he's lying.
Yeah,
there.
his muscular butt and quads.
Yeah.
But he's lying there, and he says that the Empire, he outlived his use to the Empire, and they tried to murder him.
As they do.
Yep.
They don't seem very trustworthy.
Nope.
So he's in your
So
party.
he joins your party.
Yeah, for a while.
Mm-hmm.
John, why don't you like Shadow?
Because he keeps leaving when he's really useful.
Did you load up on like shurikens and scrolls and shit?
I did, and I was stealing a lot of stuff, so I got some like really cool, they're called Fuso Shuriken that were crazy powerful. I was
Mhm.
stealing those off of enemies here.
I believe in mine they're Fuma.
Shuriken.
F-U-M-A.
Fuma, that's it.
Fuma
Yes.
Shuriken. Yeah, they do
Yeah,
a lot of damage.
they're really good. Yeah.
Fuma Shuriken. What am I quoting? What's the thing where it goes Shuriken?
Shuriken? Street Fighter?
Shuriken? Yeah.
Yeah.
Shuriken!
Oh.
Okay.
I want to say Fuma. Okay, I could be wrong here. I think Fuma is the city that the ninja from 4 is from. I think that's what it's referenced to, but I could be wrong. Anyway, yeah. So this reminds me of the air castle from Phantasy Star 4 in that it's really long
Mm-hmm.
and the enemies
Heckin' long.
are hard and it's kind of annoying.
Lots of switches.
Lots of switches.
Little portals. Kind of a puzzle.
Uh-huh. I didn't mind it. It was good for grinding. It was like once I got to level 29 or so, it was fine. But before that, it was pretty tricky.
Yeah. But this is, clearly the final dungeon of the game,
Yes.
so it makes sense that the difficulty would be amped up.
What's also weird is it's kind of the first real dungeon of the game.
Is it?
No.
All
I
right,
was gonna say it doesn't seem
let's
like
wrap
it.
this puppy up, guys. This is the end of the chunker. What happened? Jim, do it.
So you run into. Oh, by the way, right before you get to where the Emperor and Kefka are, Shadow decides to leave.
Ugh.
And
But that's
Celeste
at least he waits
enters
until the
party.
boss. You do fight that. You fight like a version of one of the statues, Ultimos or Ultima. That's one of
Isn't
the
it
3.
Atma?
Or is it at? I think it's at Ultima in mine, but it could be. Who knows? Maybe it might be a translation difference.
Yeah, it could be.
And this guy, once I figured out his thing, you can actually use relics. Or no, what's Celeste's power? Is it relic?
Runic.
Yeah.
You can use that to absorb all his attacks, which is pretty good
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
if you want to. So that is an option. And he's I just tore through him because I was kind of over leveled at this point.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was an Ultima weapon.
Yeah,
It
I think
is,
it is
right?
called something like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like-
that's right. It is one of the weapons, huh?
Yeah.
And he says he's the embodiment of strength.
Yeah, me too.
And you kill him. Vanessa is also a fun fact. Put this in your Vanessa notebook. Vanessa is actually a physical embodiment of strength.
That's true.
Yep.
So then we go find a Kefka and a Gestalt and some statues.
Mhm.
Yay!
Yeah, and you give him a good scolding.
Mhm.
You're like, you better stop. Look at this. You've gone and ultrosed up the whole country of Slovakia and knock it off.
Yep, the
Kefka
whole country
seemed
of
to-
Slovakia.
Isn't that a real place?
Well, not after they ultrosed it up.
Yeah, but Gestalt's like, hey, actually, I was totally in on this the whole time, you dummies, and he like freezes you.
He's like, surprise.
And I had Celeste in my party, so he doesn't freeze her. He like knocks her to the side and is like, hey, you can still like join us. And Celeste, Kefka's like, yeah, here, take the sword and kill your buddies. And Celeste takes the sword and she's like, should I? Shouldn't I? I guess I'll.
It's a little bit more than that.
Okay.
Gestalt wants Celeste and Kefka to have a baby together.
Well, as one does.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Yeah, because that's his plan to make like the ultimate wedding power baby.
Did all of you have Celeste in your party?
She has to be in your party.
Does she?
Shadow leave. If you don't have her, Shadow leaves and Celeste shows up, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Gestalt is doing his like genetic engineering and is super into the idea that these two are going to get it on. And all Celeste has to do to get that sweet clown bonin is kill her friends.
But she doesn't. She
What?
stabs. She puts her little sword in Kefka's tum-tum.
That's not how it's supposed to work. It goes the other way round.
I know.
Silly Celeste.
I know. And he's like, I'm bleeding. And backs up into the force field between all those dudes.
Dies.
No, he doesn't for some reason.
Oh.
Seems very resilient.
Yeah.
What happens, Jim?
So Kefka, is this where Kefka fights the Emperor?
Well, yeah. Yeah.
I didn't understand this because Kefka seemed to have like kind of an innate understanding of how to augment his powers with the statues.
Mm-hmm.
How?
Maybe he has like from all the Esper therapy he's been in, he gained some kind of innate, biological understanding of how it works.
All you have to do is push them slightly out of line, right?
But also he knew that if you stand in the middle of them, you can't get hurt by magic because they're absorbing magic.
Yeah.
He probably read a book or something.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, he decides to like turn on the Emperor. And I don't remember how, but like the Emperor gets just like shocked by a bolt. All these
pretty
bolts.
fun. Yeah, because the Emperor is like, hey, don't go crazy. You'll destroy the world and I want to rule it. And Kefka's like, TS, buddy, I'm going to wreck it. And then the Emperor's like, well, I'm going to kill you with my magics. But the magic doesn't work because he's in the force field. And then Kefka's like, okay, buddies, work with me here. Use your bolt. Like he's summoning the power of all three of the statues to fire bolts at the Emperor, which doesn't work well at first, but eventually fries him.
Don't they like go into a little battle, like a little side scrolly battle?
Yep, that's where
funny.
all this is happening.
It's really funny.
Mm-hmm. And eventually the Emperor gets totally fried by one of these lightning bolts.
And he's dead, and I love how Kefka just throws his body off of the edge of the continent.
Yeah, he's just like, good riddance to bad rubbish.
Now this scene is replicated almost entirely in Final Fantasy VII. They didn't even wait one game in between to do this entire thing over again. With a less interesting villain. So Kefka, after murdering the Emperor, decides to start pushing these statues around like it's a Resident Evil puzzle. And
yeah, he's like, hey, this is going to be funny.
But guess who comes in the nick of time to save everybody?
Nobody?
Shadow! That
he
turd.
does, doesn't he? And then you get like this little timer countdown because everything starts collapsing.
Well, yeah, Shadow pins Kefka under a statue, but he's like caught up in all this, and he's like, you guys leave, and you get blown away anyways by the magic of the statue. So you have to get to the edge of this continent in 6 minutes, which is a lot of time. You're fighting these very easy enemies that, like at this point, I can destroy in one magic hit, or a couple of hits from Locke. I found out Locke using Hawkeye. I've got him like Genji gloved with Hawkeyes, and he can do like 5,000 damage a turn for some reason, and I don't know why.
Hawkeye is an Avenger.
Yes.
So is he like sitting on Locke's shoulders, just firing arrows?
Yeah, he's got two of them on. Locke's got 2 Hawkeyes on each arm.
Nice.
Or one Hawkeye on each arm. Not
Hawkeye?
4 Hawkeyes.
One Hawk arm on each eye.
And
I like to think that he's
so
got
I tore
Clint
through
Barton
this.
Hawkeye on one arm and Kate Bishop Hawkeye on the other, and they're both kind of
But I made it-
bantering
Oh.
and firing arrows at the same time, and maybe pizza dogs around there somewhere.
makes
Wait a
sense.
minute. Pizza Dog is Interceptor.
So all the enemies here are like clowns for some reason. It's a real Cirque du Soleil kind of final moment. And you fight this one clown at the end who gets healed by any kind of elemental damage. Unfortunately, I had Celeste equipped with elemental weapons, and I had Terra with an elemental weapon, and Locke he only had one weapon at the time. So the thing cast Doom on me, and I died. And had to redo this whole thing over again, and lost the Genji glove.
That's horrible.
And lost the Genji glove that I got.
No, the whole like Emperor battle
Had to
and
redo
Celeste
all
making
that.
her choice and everything.
Uh-huh.
Yo, what if there was like an RPG like this, but it was randomized as to some like character choices and actions, so like you could replay it, and sometimes Celeste would betray you? That would be dope.
Sure.
You're like a game facts thread, Vanessa.
There was
Thanks, John.
There was
I mean,
Alien
Jim.
game for the Commodore 64 that was like that, around that era, where it was random. One of your party was actually infested with an alien and would kill you. Oh no, it was actually a robot and would kill you.
Weird.
And it was
Oh, just like with this show.
Wait,
Uh-oh.
what?
What?
I mean,
I mean,
Nah,
01001.
It's true.
yeah,
Bleep.
I'm an alien and Vanessa's a robot, and shit's gonna get dirty in here.
Oh,
Blood,
gross.
blood,
Oh.
guts.
Okay.
Mhm.
So also,
I can't get wet or dirty. It will affect my performance.
Bleep bloop. I cannot function anymore. All right.
Did you kill this clown thing easily?
I killed
What's it called?
everything
Nebulon?
I
easily.
guess.
It's
What
called
is this thing
Niflheim.
I
called
remember.
again?
Yeah, Nibelhelm. I got to the end of the continent because it is on a timer at this point, with plenty of time to spare. So I guess I must have killed it easily.
Did you have to wait around because you wanted to save Shadow?
Oh, I didn't have to.
Did you?
I could have just jumped right off. I waited. Yeah, when you get to the edge of the continent, you are given a choice. You can jump onto the airship, or you can wait, and it just says jump or wait. And I chose wait, and if you do that, then the characters say, oh, we should wait for Shadow, who has stayed behind to occupy Kefka while you escape.
So on my second playthrough of this, after losing to the boss, I was like, okay, I wait for Shadow. And then at 10 seconds, I was like, well, he isn't here. Am I supposed to just go? So I went and did not save Shadow. And then I was like, oh, I got to do this over again. See?
Again?
So you have to
One
wait.
more time?
You have to wait until it's less than 5 seconds. And then he shows up and you automatically get on the ship.
Yeah, you just
I
stand there
didn't
and
realize-
do nothing.
I didn't know that.
I
so
just
had to
wanna
do this
say-
3 times.
I just want to say that I regret saving Shadow. I should have let him die.
You learn so much about his backstory.
That's why he regrets
Yep.
it.
Oh.
And that's it. We did it.
You
We beat
land
Yeah, I
Kefka.
love the cutaway here. Like when you fly away, it shows the Earth just being obliterated.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of
Yeah, things are not going well down there.
explosions and people
Yeah.
dying.
And I
your
love
ship
the
gets torn in half.
I love the little scroll here that says, "And on that day, the world was changed forever."
Bum bum bum.
And that's it for this episode of Square Roots.
Uh-oh.
Where are we playing to
certainly
next
left
time?
in a tight spot.
Where are we playing to next time?
Oh.
Yeah, that's a Vanessa
Well,
question.
That's a great question. I have that answer on my phone, which has died.
Why did you kill your phone?
So, hang on a minute. Talk amongst yourselves.
Hi, my name is Matthew, and I am Aquarius. What's your sign,
Oh,
baby?
I'm a Leo.
I'm a Gemini.
Ooh, that's weird because you are a twin.
I know.
Yikes.
Mm.
What a creepazoid.
That means astrology is real.
I'm a lion. Grrr.
I'm a person pouring some water out of a pot.
Ooh.
What? Is that
You're
what
just
your
quenching-
sign is?
Yeah. He's quenching everyone's thirst because
Oh,
they're so
yeah.
thirsty.
Getting everybody wet.
Explains why I'm so not thirsty. I'm already a water pouring.
Oh. The Matthew Show with Jim and John talking astrology. That's what's going on.
What's your
I
sign?
bet Wolverine is a Taurus, and I bet that Cloud is a Cancer, and
Ooh. Cloud is a Cancer.
I bet that a Star War is a Taurus. I don't actually know very many of those.
I think Darth Vader is a Hufflepuff.
And see, I was thinking maybe you guys would use this time to read a letter or do some other business.
We're not there
Clearly,
yet.
that's not what happened.
John's bullshit mini game corner.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
All right, so there are mini games.
Many
there?
games? No, John,
Mini.
just one game. Final Fantasy
Yeah,
VI.
you're right. The mini game for this many games, which is one game, is talking to all the soldiers. You have to talk to up to 24 soldiers and then answer questions in the most peaceful and diplomatic manner possible to get all the prizes
It's
that
dumb.
you get for this dumb dinner. I found about 17 of the soldiers, maybe 20.
And sometimes
find
you
all
have
of
to
them.
fight them.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, and apparently you should not be opening chests because you can do it after. It's really hard to tell in this game whether or not you can open chests later if something's timed. In this case, you should not. And you should talk to all of them, find all 24, and then be like, I think that we should put Kefka in jail. I think we should work towards peace. I'm a namby-pamby. That's how you get all the points.
What are the prizes for this, John?
You unlock an armory with lots of money and weapons. You unlock access to Doma Castle, which I totally forgot to go to. There's some extra relics you get if you get it perfect, which I did not do. So I don't know. I didn't get that relic.
All right. Well, that's it for John's bullshit minigame corner.
Basically,
Next
you
up-
get more points for all the soldiers you convince and for right answers. And for bad answers, you get points taken away. You get points taken away for soldiers you did not rescue.
One of them was on a toilet,
Yeah, it was.
Yuck.
and you walk right in to talk to him about diplomacy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, let's wrap this puppy up. Jim, it's
Yeah.
time for our next segment.
All right, we do have a letter this week. We got a very nice letter, by the way.
That's the wrong segment, Jim.
Yeah, squarely against, buddy.
All right. Okay. Let's talk about what we're squarely against. I'll go first. I thought the floating continent was very hard. And I'm squarely against games being so hard I actually have to try.
Yeah, that makes sense. Vanessa's breaking things.
Uh-huh. We should
What
leave
about
that
you,
sound in.
John? What are you squarely against?
I am roundly for how crazy overpowered Locke is if you give him a Genji glove and 2 Hawkeyes, and he just sometimes he uses it like a sword and it's not very powerful, but sometimes he throws it and it shows up like a giant shuriken. It does 2,500 damage for no reason, and that's about half the time. So suddenly this Hawkeye is the most powerful weapon in the game. And also I have a sword somehow for Shadow that kills enemies instantly with a big X. Except one thing I thought was really cool is if you use them on some of the enemies here, they are resistant to death. So you kill them with this big X, and then they just they fade out, but then fade back in.
Yeah, I had that
which
problem
is really funny.
for basically the rest of the game.
Oh, that they're immune to Shadow's weird sword death thing.
Yeah, and other characters would have Realm would occasionally use something that would do the same, her sketch would do the same thing, and it would do the exact same thing. They would just fade back in. It was very stupid.
I kind of like that effect. What about you, Matthew? What are you squarely against?
I'm squarely against saving Shadow. I shouldn't have done that. Fuck that guy. What about you, Vanessa? What are you squarely against?
I'm roundly for the dialogue tree bit with the Emperor. I really liked it. I really liked it when I played this game as a kiddo, and I still like it today. I like games with dialogue trees. I like games where I can have conversations and make choices and use diplomacy, and that's what I did. I liked it. That's what I'm roundly
You did
for.
it.
I like seeing Kefka in jail if you like stop by there. It wastes time on your search for guards, but it's funny.
You can go after you search for guards.
All right, now we have a letter.
Yeah.
Vanessa, did you
Yay.
find? Did you
I
find
want to
your?
read it. I want to read it because it's so nice to everybody.
Did you
Okay, 1 second though.
Okay.
Next time we will be playing to the end of Daryl's tomb.
Ooh, Darill.
I remember
Okay.
this. I remember this being really hard, but I was 16 and dumb, so maybe it's not.
Yeah, I don't think it's that hard. At this point, listeners, the game does become a little bit open world. So if you are playing along with us and you want to make sure that you're hitting up everything, you can probably just follow something like the IGN walkthrough or any walkthrough that will give you a basic idea of everywhere you need to go to get all of that sweet, sweet content. Jim, please read the letter.
Okay. The letter begins, how is Vanessa so cool and smart? How is Matthew so sweary yet so sensitive? I also cry at commercials. How is John so cuddly and sensual? How is Jim so sincere and adorable? How am I so shamelessly complimentary to a bunch of strangers? 'Cause you all should know this. Team Square Roots is an absolute hoot. The bee's knees, top of the morning, lively fresh mint, school and cool kids winning the bids. Bye-bye, sleep-deprived Crystal. Thanks,
Aw.
Crystal.
Crystal.
That was
Yeah.
very nice of you, Crystal. I am
That
cuddly.
kept my ego afloat for a good week.
I didn't think that the fact that I was smart came through over the podcast. So thank you, Crystal.
It doesn't.
I
She
appreciate
was
it.
just being nice.
I
Yeah,
didn't
Vanessa,
think-
That's
you
what I
really have to
figure.
stop ending each sentence with "duh." If you don't say "duh," you sound a lot smarter. Just a pro tip.
But what am I supposed to end a sentence with a dough? You do say fart, fart, my butt, every episode.
I just want to say, I like the fact that, so Vanessa's cool and smart, and John's cuddly and sensual. Jim is sincere and adorable, and I'm sweary?
Yet sensitive. Yet sensitive.
Yeah, sensitive to this backhanded compliment.
Well, why don't you cry about it like you do at commercials there,
Yeah.
I'm
buddy?
going to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get in my
Why don't you make
bed.
it a commercial and
Man,
cry
geez.
about it?
What are you, sensitive?
I'm going to get in my bed, I'm going to pee my pants, I'm going to cry. Like a little baby.
Okay. Aw, it's almost bedtime for Buddy.
Patrons. Hey, we have a Patreon.
We do. It's our only source of income for all of us. This is what we do for a living.
Yeah, that's how we afford the
Right.
rent in this tiny efficiency apartment we all share where we record this podcast.
Mm-hmm. It used to be a shipping container.
Yeah.
Jim, get your
We
feet
don't
off
have
my
a
side of the
toilet.
bed.
There's no toilet in here.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I'm
It's very
here.
hot. But no, we use our Patreon pledges for things like equipment and to produce new cool episode features like our Level Up podcast and our Square Roots Versus episodes and our revival of Instant Classic, which I believe next time we will be playing through Uncharted Lost Legacy.
Yep, you can expect the Uncharted Lost Legacy Instant Classic to release, I believe, at the end of August.
That's this month.
That's this month.
Yes.
Depends on when the listeners are listening.
Yeah.
Oh.
From our perspective, that's this month. Who knows what month it is for them? Time is relative.
That's a good
August
point.
2018.
Maybe
Anyway.
some kind of future Earth historian has found this recording is like, what the hell are they talking about? I regret all my choices in life.
They probably think it's an actual historical telling of what happened. They're like, oh, that's how the world got destroyed.
Yep.
Kefka unbalanced the 3 goddess statues. But no, it was Trump.
Yeah, so pretty much exactly what I was thinking. So, listeners, give us some money on our Patreon. And if you are a patron, we love you. And here's Jim to read a list of names.
Yay!
Yeah. Here's this is one of our Patreon perks. So here's a list of our current patrons as of August 5th, 2018.
I don't think that's right.
We've got-
I think we got a new one.
We've got
I put it in.
You're so smart and good.
We've got Julian Titus.
I'm smart and cool.
David Pascal,
Titus,
Nathan Poirot,
David
Randy
Pascal.
Pierce, Benzina
Oh.
Banzoni, Megan
that.
Sullivan,
Sounds
Jonathan
like
Ellsworth, Dylan Rice, Sam Harrison, Devin Sloan,
Yeah.
Danny Lucas, Cody Schwerin, James
Uh-oh.
Platt, Greg Bailey,
Hey.
Race Jenkins,
Ah,
Joseph A. Rogers, Rob Schubert, Stu Skeel, Xavier Krieger,
Excellent.
David Shook,
Great.
Matthew Jorgensen, Kiva Mosser, Samu
Oh.
Mitchell, Andrew
Hey.
Wayant, Brian
Hi.
Stone, Aaron Bachman,
Thank you.
Robert M. Pollum,
Oh.
Stan,
Uh-huh.
Tracy
Yep.
Tanoff, Josh Anderson,
Oh.
Robert
Hi.
T., Ross Hartley, Tyler Petty, Brody Toy, Justin Ham, Bree Girth, Meredith Anderson,
Yoko Ono.
Brian Pitt, Ward Childress, Patrick Hoover, Patrick W. Bears, Wonder Swan, Miguel Torres, Rusty Kamada, Tom, Lynn Setchell, Justin Benowit, Vanessa's mom,
Benowit.
Cameron Show, Jonathan Ellsworth, Ashley W., and Cyril the Wolf.
Woo.
Thank you, patrons, for your patronage. We look forward to maybe adding your name to the list next time.
Yay!
How's that
You're
for a
all
sign
my
up, guys?
favorite people.
We
All right,
love
everyone,
you.
you know the deal. If you want to get in touch with us at the podcast, you can reach us by email, squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. Come see us at our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group for smart, cool, very attractive people, or you can tweet at us. We are at Square Roots Pod.
I'm on the Twitter all the time, doing a great job.
You are. It's fantastic.
Did you get
Our
the password
intro
working?
music for this series is the One Up's cover
No.
of Terra's theme. Check out their work at theoneups.com. Our outro music is a jazz cover of Shadow's theme by Lord Biff Music. Check out Lord Biff's Patreon and YouTube as Lord Biff Music. Links to both artists in the show notes.
If you want to rate, review, and subscribe, on iTunes or Google Play or Stitcher, wherever you listen to this podcast, and screenshot your review and put it onto the Facebook group or send it to Twitter or whatever, I will tell you how you leveled up. I always put a lot of work into it. Not really, but it's fun. Anyway.
Ba-na-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Meow, 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 meow.
All right, everybody. That's it for this episode of Square Roots. I am Jim Banks.
I'm Matthew Van Zant.
I'm John Brandon. Why is Vanessa holding her hand up and waving at us?
I was jamming to your song.
Oh, okay.
And I'm bad jamming Vanessa. Jamming so bad.
Bad
Jamin?
Janet.
I'm jamming.
I like Bad
I'm
Janet.
super bad.
Although I like Good Janet better.
I honestly among the echelon of television characters, Good Janet is probably one of the top 5 closest to me. It's not something I'm proud of. It's just
I
the way
know.
it is.
You are you could cosplay as her. I bet you have that jumpsuit already in your closet for some reason.
I just need the little neckerchief.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.